Test, 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 test. One, two, three, four. Can you guys hear me? Is there any audio? All right. Welcome back. Let's start from the top. What is up, Fitz fam? So good to see you guys virtually, as it were, in full high definition audio this time. We're 2 for 2 on having audio issues. And I say last time was absolutely me. I just had it muted. This time there was gremlins in the audio type equipment, apparently. So anyway, welcome back. So good to be with you guys. Appreciate you guys taking time on your Thanksgiving weekend to pop in and talk about fence. If you guys are listening to this on the podcast, you're listening to a recorded live or live to recording. I don't know how you say that, but it was recorded live on a Saturday. We do a live Q&A from 10 to 11 Central, most every Saturday, youtube.com/Joe Everest. Pop in there, ask your fence questions. We would love to answer them. I typically have on a guest, someone in the fencing industry, and we talk about fence and their segment of the fencing industry. This week is no different. If you've read the title, you know exactly who we're going to have on. The sponsor of the studio, the expert professional wood care product studio himself, Caleb Roth.
Man, I felt like I'm ready for a boxing match now. Great introduction.
Caleb, how are you?
Man, doing great. How about you?
Good. The audio equipment had a little bit of trouble coming back from Thanksgiving break, I think.
Well, me too. My mouse was dead on my other computer, so here I am at someone else's desk today. I like the change of scenery behind me, though. This is
nice. It's like a in the weeds, like a view of real life standstill experts or expert professional wood care products.
That's it. You got it. Glad you got the audio fixed.
It's always something.
Glad you got the audio fixed, man. Yeah, we got Thanksgiving all weekend long at my house. How about yours?
So we're in leftovers land right now. So we got most of the Thanksgivings. Actually, all the Thanksgivings are out of the way. So now we're just trying to push through to do the leftovers. And I feel like for restaurants right now. I feel for them, like pizza places that would normally be busy, because everyone has just refrigerators full of leftovers. No one's going out to eat right now. They've got piles of food, and then the dad in you says we are not paying for food when we have a refrigerator full of perfectly good food that is not going to go to waste. We'll be eating turkey for a while.
Man, I have not had any turkey yet.
What?
Yeah, family couldn't get together, so today is the day. First day is today, and then tomorrow. So I got
there you go.
Between now and tomorrow, I got 2 or 3 meals. So I'm excited.
You're getting ready to launch into some turkey then.
Fixing to. Yeah. Been hunting all weekend, man. I took the kids deer hunting yesterday and the day before.
How'd that go?
Very well. We saw lots of deer, but no shooters. So
That's okay. Seeing them's half the fun.
Teaching them patience.
Yeah. And you remember as a kid, your heart's going just like 90-0, just seeing a deer.
I don't know how we saw anything, man. The kids are moving so much, but yeah, we saw between 7 and 10 deer every day. So,
there's a story, and it's probably not true, but there's a story that goes around about these guys that take their grandpa hunting, this older fellow, and, they're young guys, so they've got their scent blocker stuff on. They got all their spray. They walk in a very tight line going to the stand, and they take this route around the stand. They go up, they hunt all day, don't see anything. They get goosed the whole time. Come down out of the stand, they go back, and they're walking in. They see their grandpa up in his stand. Well, he's having a smoke, and he's got a sandwich, and he's probably drinking a beer or something. And they're like, "Grandpa, what are you doing?" He goes, "I'm just out here killing deer." He goes, "Hey, just a second." Puts down the beer, grabs a rifle, shoots a 10-point buck. He's like, "Hey, you guys mind going and getting that for me? I'm not done with the sandwich quite yet." There's something to that.
I am a firm believer that the world was hunted to almost near extinction by guys in red flannel shirts. And so I don't buy into all the kit and the gear. Prime example, me and 3 kids walk all the way across this hayfield to get into the stand. And over the course of our hunt, probably a minimum of 3 deer cross directly over our path. Their nose never drops. They never smell us. Coyote walks across our path. We shot the coyote because he's been eating all the barn cats. So we get rid of the coyote, and they never knew we were there.
It's. I think it's when you work too hard at it. That's when they pick it up.
Yeah, yeah. And if you want to see deer, just get in a tractor and go cut some hay, and then you will definitely see animals.
I tell you what, here. So it was Thanksgiving Day. So it's Thursday. We were going from my folks out to Taylor's folks. And it's about a half-hour drive. And it's not really through the country. It's right on the side of the interstate. I saw more deer just out middle of the day. I mean, I say middle of the day. It was probably 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Just fields were filthy with them. I think they knew that everyone was eating Thanksgiving. All right, guys.
It's
Today's
that time, man. Yeah, for sure. We're going to go back. We're going to keep going though, because we're having fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Good deal. Good deal. Guys, if you're watching, I hope you had a good Thanksgiving too. As always, drop your comments in the comments below. Obviously, with Caleb here, we're going to talk about staining for a little bit. Caleb, I sent you some screenshots a few days ago of the video we did there at the Staining University in Springfield. Holy bananas. This thing, let me get current. It's going nuts. It's absolutely going nuts. So,
Joe, when you get a good-looking guy on there, I mean, you're just naturally going to get a million views.
Yeah, listen. I mean, you should be an influencer. You really should. You should do that.
I need to get a light in here. I look like I'm in a dungeon.
This video. So, guys, the video is on the YouTube channel. It's a short. It's basically, Caleb demonstrating that the stain. It doesn't matter how you apply it. It's pretty. It's. I don't want to say foolproof. That's probably not the right word, but it's pretty easy to work with. In that, he wrote Dean's name in it, and then he was staining sideways, and then he ended up staining vertically. And the point was, you probably couldn't do this with a lot of other stains out there, but with Caleb's stain, you can. And then we came back to a finished shot, and it looked great. You couldn't see a name, you couldn't see side strokes or anything like that. What is it? 551,000 views, 580,000. My absolute, 585,000 views. Yeah, that's nuts. 267 in the last 48 hours. Crazy.
I'm gonna have to start being an influencer, I guess.
I'll tell you what. Here's the thing: is you guys, you need to get Abby doing shorts. Is what you need to do. You need somebody doing shorts over there. But no, I think it's interesting because, it was there's a lot of engagement on that video because you made a couple points on it. You said, here's the thing is we're only staining one side, and since it's a penetrating stain, it will pull through to the other side. I bet there's a lot of comments on this video, and I bet half of them are like, will not. No, it doesn't. It doesn't pull through. What is he talking about? Pulling through to the other side. Well, no, actually, it does. That's actually pretty common. I don't know. There's just a lot of people that just haven't stained that are in the comments. That's probably more than likely.
Well, it's less common than you might think, though, in the world of stains. So,
so maybe that's just their experience. But my reply typically is something along the lines of like, no, it's for real. When we're staining one side of a fence, we have to let the neighbor know that we're doing this because it's gonna look like polka dots. Right, like it's just going to look polka dotted, and maybe not down the entirety of the fence, but you will see it. You'll see polka dots throughout the fence.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go back by that fence on the other side because it's an apartment complex. I think we can get in there behind it and take a video of just the polka dots. I'm sure they're there. I mean, just knowing what that fence is, it's not an older fence, but it's not a new fence either. It's probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old. So I bet some stain pulled through to the other side.
Probably did. No doubt about it.
But yeah, so YouTube video's doing fairly well, Caleb. I hope you guys see some of that on your guys' end. Let's jump up to the comments real quick. We're only here for an hour. It's kind of strange. Not strange. This is like our fourth time doing it, but it takes some getting used to.
Okay.
You cut the show in less than half, and it's a bit of an adjustment. And we actually haven't hit an hour yet. Like it's always been like an hour 10 or something.
Okay. Well, that's good. That means I'll have time to stretch and get ready to eat that turkey.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to need it.
We had the air conditioner on in the shop when I got here. So it's 53 degrees in here this morning. Ooh. Feels nice and nice.
Brisk is the word, I think.
Mm-hmm. I got the heat on now.
Feels like harvest. My Fence Life has a question, Caleb. Do you have a Joe Everest orange as a stain option?
Yeah, we do. It's called Sequoia.
There you go.
We do.
There you go. Roger says, happy Thanksgiving, Fence fan. Welcome, Roger.
Joe, next year your fence, whenever you redo the fence at your house or you get a deck or whatever, sequoia. I think Taylor would love it. He'd love it. It's a beautiful California color. You can tell her it's California color.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think she'd go for that. And it would be a bit of a stretch to go from mahogany to sequoia, I think. It'd be a bit of a stretch. Bo DeVore, what is up, Bo? Says, good morning, Fence fan. Tapping in from Oregon. Very good. Welcome, welcome. I know this mic, Martin has a point. Not again with the mic. I know. Listen, last time, it was me. It was absolutely user error. There's a mute button right down here that I didn't uncheck. That was on me. This time was not me. This time it was the Rodecaster Pro Gremlins. We got a lot of no audios. Martin says, you're not muted like last week. Nope, but I appreciate you reminding me on that. All right. Here we go. Rachel Cruzy says, greetings from Montana. Greetings, Rachel. Playing with the grandbaby out there, I bet. This is a guy both of us know, Caleb. Mr. Caruso says, watching this weekend from Detroit.
From Detroit. He must be up there visiting family.
I bet you're right. Christopher, welcome. Thank you. I say welcome. We see Christopher every week, so welcome back. Todd Skolsky says, good morning and happy Thanksgiving. Good morning, Todd. Roger has a point. Not just a sponsor, the OG guest of the 2.5 hours show. We stretched it to 3 hours once, and I think we actually cut ourselves a little bit short because, we got to talking about unfence related content.
There are women in our lives who have to reel us in every once in a while.
Isn't that the truth? You get me talking about aliens or the moon, and we could just go all day. Martin says, I got brisket and a pork shoulder on the smoker ready for tea tonight. All right, Martin. Well, Caleb and I will be over later. Just save us some. That'd be great. Pro Wash, Missouri. So we know these guys. Says, hello, gents. Good morning. Well, he actually meant hello, but I like it better when it says hello. So, Pro Wash, Missouri was at the Springfield event. Good to meet you guys in person, and I'll see you guys in the chat. We both know this guy, Jackson Fence Company. What's going on, studs? What's up, Cannon? Good morning.
Hello.
Pro Wash says, biggest deer I've shot was out of the combine while picking corn. I think that's a gray area. I don't. Technically, I think the rule is you can't shoot them out of a motorized vehicle. I think that's.
As long as you fully eat it, you're good.
Okay. There you go.
Man, there's a problem where we live. People shoot them out of people's front yards and cut their head off and leave the deer laying there. So
You're
I think
kidding.
No, that's nationwide though. I think they should start hanging people to do that.
It stopped pretty quick. So we've got over at Wireworks, our neighbors got some dumpsters just for their trash and whatnot. They had a deer carcass in there a couple weeks ago, but it was the most bizarre thing I'd ever seen. Fully skinned, but it was intact, just in the dumpster.
They have a head on it?
Yeah, it was a doe. I was like, I don't get it. But I don't have to, I guess. Michael's got a question that's off topic. Fence Tech, can I still get tickets to it, and where do I find info on it? Absolutely. You probably just search AFA Fence Tech 2023, and I bet you'd find it. I don't even know if. No, I'm sure tickets are on sale. It's only.
They're not going to quit selling. They'll sell you a ticket at the front door when you get there. They're not going to keep anybody out.
No, absolutely not. It's only a few months away. I was getting ready to say it's a ways away, so maybe they haven't started tickets. No, it's only like 3 months, basically. Isn't that crazy? Jeremy is with us. Hello, everyone. Or hey, everyone. Hello, Jeremy. There you go. Rachel says, visit the American Fence Association website. There's your answer. Pro Wash says, after the Springfield event, I saw an ad for a dipless brush for a sprayer. Have either of you guys tried one? And what was the brand of handheld sprayer Kenny had? What do you think, Caleb? So dipless brush, is that one of the ones you...
Yep. Yeah, they've sent us a couple, but the problem with the dipless brush for oil stains is it's made for water-based stains, so it will not hold any material. So it's a great idea. If you're watching and listening, we've 100 people been asking you to make it with a brush, with a natural bristle brush, so it can hold oil stains. So
Yeah.
it's not quite there yet. And then the sprayer Kenny had, I believe, was a Graco that took what was it, DeWalt batteries.
Yeah.
If they
And
make one that,
I forget how many hours. I think he said it was good for a couple hours.
yeah.
So if you get a decent, I mean, that'll coat
I
up.
I bought a couple of those years and years ago, when you plugged them into the wall.
Yeah.
And they didn't last very long. I don't know never had experience with one with the battery powered, but it was the same brand. The one I had were Graco's.
Yeah.
Same situation.
Interesting. Good to know. Ashley's here. Good morning, Ashley.
Better straighten up.
We will have Caleb off in a timely manner. I will let you know that Caleb dutifully, he let me know that hard out. Now he said 11:40, but we're going to say 11:30, which is pretty easy because it goes 10 to 11 now. So, but you never know. But
30 minutes. Yeah, 30 minutes for visiting.
That's right. Chris 7601 has a question. Best way to stain previously stained wood that's wearing off?
Well, it depends.
What does it depend on, Caleb?
If it's a penetrating oil-based stain that's been previously stained, it needs to be clean and dry, and you can restain it. If it's a water-based or a film-forming type of a stain, you may have to strip it. You may have to sand it. You may have to do no telling what if you want to start from scratch. So some people will just, so if it's water-based, you either strip it or you either just wash it and go over it with another water-based solid, usually is what people would do.
Now, Caleb, is there a good way of knowing? So say you walk up to a fence that you've never seen before, the homeowner just bought the house, doesn't know what's on the fence. Is there a good way of knowing roughly what's on the fence?
Generally, with a little bit of time in the trenches, you will be able to look at it and tell. But for instance, over your shoulder here in your video, I can see that just about every one of those looks like a water-based film forming stain. Maybe the top two up here, I'm pointing on the screen like everybody can see me, but there may be on the opposite side. Yep, keep going over. Right there. Whoop, you're on it. You see that brown board that's on Joe's finger? That one, without being up close, that one might look kind of like an oil-based stain. It just depends. But the rest of these green ones and the other ones, those are definitely water bases. So usually what you're looking for in IDing what film forming or penetrating is obviously a film forming stain is going to have a film on the surface. You can see peeling, cracking, chipping, things like that, where a penetrating stain, pigment's designed to be like a sacrificial coating layer that goes away in time. So if it's slowly fading into nothing, probably oil-based. If it's got a film that's peeling, cracking, and chipping, probably water-based.
Good to know. Martin Lee says, for low context, I'm in the UK, so we don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but you were talking about turkey, so I had to tell you what I'm having for dinner this weekend.
He's probably having that in his garden.
Yep. Martin, we're still coming over. It's going to take us a little bit longer to get there. We might not be there by dinner, but we're going to save us some leftovers. Yeah,
I'm curious. We're going to have to go. I've never had barbecue, English barbecue. I didn't even know they. Well, he's having a brisket and a pulled pork.
Oh,
just before tea.
Question, Martin. What would you call that meal? So in the States, we'd call it barbecue, right? But they probably don't. What would you call that, Martin?
And we also need to know the temperature he's cooking it on, the type of wood he's smoking it with, and how long he's going to leave it on.
Yep, there are some questions. We do have some questions. And then what will you be putting on it? Like, would it be like a molasses-based sauce? Is there a sauce? I guess is a good question. But is it molasses-based or There's some questions, Martin. We need to have a side conversation about how you're preparing this food. But welcome from the UK. Roger says, we need more judges across the country with Caleb's hanging philosophies across multiple crimes. It would probably cure a lot of what ails us.
Probably would. They will hang you if you do that.
And
All
listen,
right, I'm not going to do it.
People acted right. People acted right. Jonathan says, "Good morning, Fence fam. Go Buckeyes!" To our friends from up north. Okay, I don't follow college ball. I probably should. That's Buckeyes, right? Yeah,
that would be Ohio State. Am I wrong? I had a friend who was from Ohio, and everything was Buckeyes. That's the only way I know.
It's Ohio State. Okay. Well, and I think you're supposed to say the Ohio State. I think I've watched enough Pat McAfee to know, like, when you say Ohio, you have to say the Ohio State.
Well, there's only one, right?
That's the thing. It's like there's only one. So I think
the Joe Everest.
Pro Watch says, thank you. You're welcome. Caleb, one of the things I think we ought to cover is there's a little event going on December 8th.
Yeah, before we do, though, the Joe Everest, that's kind of funny. Next time we do an event and people are walking in, I'm going to say, all right, listen, he likes to be referred to as the Joe Everest, and don't look him right in the eyes.
Do not do that. Oh, how awful would that be?
No physical touch, and don't look him in the eyes.
Good. Yeah, save the autographs for later.
Bow
only non-flash photography.
Bow slightly if he looks in your direction.
Good grief! I'll never.
Yeah, man, we're doing something different, Joe. It's the whole world's been doing this for years, and now we're jumping on the bandwagon. But we are doing a virtual staining university. A whole lot of what we do at these events is not hands-on. You know, we do a lot of hands-on stuff, but there's a whole lot of your business that's not hands-on, right?
That's right.
So, it actually is hands-on. It's hands-on the phone. It's hands-on the keyboard. It's hands-on the P&L statement or whatever. Mm-hmm. So we're just doing a virtual staining university. We got some good speakers lined up, and I don't have my list. I will try to get them all right. But for you UK guys, we've got a guy named Stephen Shires coming on. He is highly regarded in the wood care industry over in the UK. We've got Everett Abrams, Wizard of Wood, coming on to talk. Jamie Hodge, he's down in South Georgia, talk about the realities of a staining business. Me and you and I, we're going to be there. Jacob Salem is going to give us a talk about marketing and a keynote speech.
Nice.
For those that know him. And Mandy's going to come on and give her explanation on how to bid staining jobs, the way she does it from a school teacher. She can teach better than I can. So, so it's a great thing. So I think that's 7 people, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So it's not going to be a huge event. So it's going to be from 9 a.m. probably till 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Perfect.
That you'll get to sign in and ask questions. We'll stream this thing live, but you'll be able to ask questions right there in the room. It's going to be really cool. But Wizard of Wood, I think to go to one of his classes costs a lot of money. You get to do it here for free. I pay you a lot of money to come to my event, right? Like if you come to one of our events, right? You get to come to this one for free. So there's a joke there, but yeah, man, it's going to be different. It's going to be cool to be able to get people kind of candid on camera and talk about, just the whole business, the industry, things that have worked and helped them grow their business. And so if you're thinking about getting in the staining wood care type of a business, you'll be able to listen to people that have been there and done it. Some people that have been doing it at the highest level.
Yeah.
So very interesting. And then they're going to pick up stuff from you, me, and Jacob Salem and different people on the back end of the business,
Well, I like it. I like this virtual concept because, one, like you said, the rest of the world's been doing it for everything. It seems like since the pandemic. But one of the biggest reasons we hear of people not attending one of the staining universities is the timing wasn't right. Right? They couldn't get across country, or they had a birthday the next day, or they had a time conflict, right? So, because it does take a good amount of time to travel to one of these trainings. I mean, typically you come in the day before, you leave the day after, you've got 2 days of training. So you got to take 4 days away. And a lot of times that just isn't practical for a lot of people's lives. So I like that this is digital, that it's online, so that they can kind of come and go as they've got time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the great thing is we're going to be able to, chop it all down into bite-sized pieces later and put it out for the whole world to enjoy. So it'd be a fun thing.
Well, and that's going to be the big thing is it'll just be one of those trainings that just is perpetual. It'll just go on because we can just, tease out little pieces here and there and let people consume it as they have time. And that would be, I think,
evergreen, and it's going to bring the industry together. I mean, Jamie Hodge, huge wood defender guy, Everett Abrams, Wizard of Wood, water-based guy, been doing this forever. Of course, you got us right in the middle of the road, and so our idea is to bring the community together, get everybody's opinion in the same room, so we can talk about it and learn the pros and cons of everything from each other. So I'm excited.
Well, we talk about this a lot in the fencing industry about how, well, and in sailing, I'm sure too, about how healthy competition is healthy, right? And it's good for everybody. But I think people get a little carried away with this healthy competition thing. And then it turns into, well, you and I are competitors. We have similar products. So now you and I can't talk to each other. And we feel like we're not supposed to like each other because we've got competing products. Well, that was certainly one way to think about it years ago. But I think our industries are maturing and we're figuring out that we're kind of all in this thing together.
Well, it's like Wizard of Wood and I. He's water based, I'm oil based. There are people, my customers need him, and some of his customers need me from time to time.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. And so we're doing business with the same people anyways. Why not contribute equally? And I think that's, at least that's my opinion. It's probably not everyone's opinion, but that's the way I see it.
Well, and you both have a tremendous amount of experience in the field. You have a tremendous amount of knowledge to get out. So when you combine that, I mean, imagine I'm excited just to be a fly on the wall on the December 8th event. Like, I just want to be there to watch.
I'll be taking notes. That's for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
So it'll be fun.
Absolutely.
It'll be fun. But yeah, I would like to see if we can do this once a quarter or, twice a quarter. Yeah. I think if we can get this thing going, because it's all about sharing experiences. I've learned the most things in my life, not necessarily from sitting in a class, but actually from just listening to somebody who's been there telling a story.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Caleb, I like what you did this time when you shared with us kind of your experiences. Right. And you and I have talked about this before, where you're in a group of people that you're not allowed to give advice. You're just allowed to share your experience, more or less. Is that kind of the cliff notes of it?
Well, yeah, you're talking about EO. It's entrepreneur organization. Anybody, anywhere, I recommend it. But basically, you become you get assigned a forum group, which is, I guess, between 7 and 9. I think there's 8 of us in my group. People that are on a similar path as you. So we're similar sized businesses, and we're all going one direction. Our attempt is to go up, and we all get together. And what you learn is, whether you're a banker, whether you're an accountant, you're a attorney, you're a surgeon, you own a hardwood flooring company, you own a fence company, a stain company, maybe you're in multifamily real estate, whatever it is, we all have the same struggles in business. We all have the same problems, and we go through different problems at different times. So when you're going through one thing, I'm going through something else. Well, if we share all of these things together, we can all learn together at the same time, and then we can just keep going to the next level. So when I reached the problem that I heard, maybe Joe in my group had a problem with his accounting situation, or maybe with people not showing up to work, whatever the problem was, we learned how he handled it, how it took care of. And then other people said, well, when I had a similar situation, this is what I did. And if you pass that around the room, everybody gives their experience share. You learn. You can check that box, and you just keep going up. And every month you meet, and if you got 8 guys, you learn how to solve 8 problems. And so it really puts us all together. And then when we get back and we meet, we realize, our mood is all similar. We're going through similar things. And then we meet again, and our mood is similar. And so I'm in there going, hey guys, I need y'all to be in a great mood. I need y'all to make a ton of money. I need y'all, you guys to, do very well. And that's the way it is, man. It really is. It really does have the rising tide raises all ships thing. But that's what I've learned there, is that if someone tells me something, you need to know this, I think automatically our brain kind of tunes it out. Our brain kind of goes on a little bit of a defense. Sure. But if somebody says, I had a similar situation and I did this, that, and I spoke with somebody and they told me about this, and here's what I did. And 2 years later, it has worked, or we've tweaked it a little bit along the way. I just gained 2 years of experience with a company bigger than mine. I'm going
Yeah.
to do that. I'm going to do that. So I think it's good. It's a good thing. So
Well,
yeah, I shared experiences.
and I think it's easier to apply when you're sharing experiences. You're giving some background on what the problem was and how you came to the solution, rather
Hmm.
than just saying, "Well, Caleb, you need your team to show up 15 to 20 minutes before work." Well, no kidding. Thank you for that advice. I really appreciate it. Rather than saying, "Well, in our business, we emphasize giving context to the advice." I think is huge, and sharing experience kind of gives that context to it
Hmm.
rather than just having straight up advice. But
A great example we can use for this is core values. You've heard your whole life. I've heard my whole life. Every time you get around someone that you would consider as high level in business, above where I am, or above maybe where you are at any given moment, and they start talking about things like mission and values, core values, and things like that. And man, I used to think that was the biggest, craziest. Like, give me something that I can use. Don't give me this BS core values. These people don't know anything, so all they're doing is talking about core values. That was my mindset. And I knew this years and years and years and years, core values, and I was thinking I'll get around to it. And then one day, finally, somebody basically grabbed me by the neck here and shook me and said, "Listen, give me some problems you're having in your business." Like, I'll give you an example. A friend of mine, he has speed, willingness, accountability, something else. But we'll just talk about speed. In his business, you have to move fast. You got to go fast. And because one of his core values is speed, and I'm sure he's got a whole sentence behind it and a meaning behind it and what it means to go fast and why they have to go fast. When somebody's moving slow, you don't have to walk in the room and go, "What are you doing? You're running like a snail. This is ridiculous." You just go in and you go, "Hey, John, man, were you living up to our core values when you did this deal?" Speed, willingness, accountability, whatever his things are. And then that person can go, "No, I wasn't." And now you're attacking the behavior.
sure.
You're putting the spotlight on the behavior, not on the person. And so core values gives you the ability to to identify behaviors that you don't want, not people, because it's really difficult for it's really difficult to say something to somebody about their behavior and them not take it personally. But
Yeah.
when you have those core values in place, everybody knows what they are. Then they know this is not personal. It's about the behavior. And so,
Right. Well, and again, I guess today's words context. It gives context to the correction also.
mhm.
It's not just, "Hey, I need you to stay on task." Okay, it seems like you're wandering. We need to stay on task. We need to get our work done and not just walk around. Whereas if your core value is diligence, right, or it was just any, were you doing your task diligently? Were we living up to the core value of being diligent in our pursuit of whatever it is that we're doing? It gives a little bit more meaning behind it. To your point, when I just say, "Hey, Caleb, listen, you've been wandering for a while. I need you to really stay on task," because other people see that, and then it really kind of brings everyone down. So I really need you to pick it up. You're like, "Well, that was kind of that doesn't feel great to get that feedback," because in your mind you're like, "Listen, you didn't see me when I was here for 3 hours just really knocking this out of the park.
Mhm.
I stopped for 5 minutes, used the restroom, I was clearing my head before I started the next thing. You just saw me when I was doing that and assumed I hadn't completed my task." When also, if we're having a talk about diligence or the core, whatever the core value is, it also probably gives you a chance for that feedback. So, Caleb, one of our core values is diligence, and diligently completing the task and staying on task. Do you think you're living up to that value? And then that probably gives you that opportunity to say, "Well, absolutely. For the last 3 hours, I've been diligently, attacking whatever this task is." And anyway,
I like it. So I think people should certainly do their diligence on researching those core values. It's
I like it.
important. It seems like it's not, and a lot of people worry like, how do I have to make these up? You don't make them up. You already have them in place. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you know, if it doesn't matter how big your company is, I mean, your life, you have core values.
Of
Like
course.
as growing up as a child, if you got in trouble with your parents, they usually didn't say, Joe, you're a bad boy. They said, Joe, you stole candy from the gums from the store.
Mm-hmm.
You're in trouble. You're going to take it back. You're going to apologize, and then you're going to work for free for the store for 2 weeks, because we don't do that. You
Right.
attack the behavior, not the person.
Right.
And it's the same thing. So
Yeah.
if you're struggling with core values, there's a lot of stuff you can. I think Simon Sinek's got a book called Start with Why
Yeah.
that you could read. There's a TED Talk called Start with Why. That's a good
Okay.
one to watch. That those didn't necessarily help me make my core values, but they just
Sure.
were something good to watch. But if if doing the right thing every single time is one of your core values, write it down, and then write down what it means and what it means to you, and then if you do that, what happens, and then come up with those things. One of ours is lead by example, because I believe that leaders got to lead by example. I never want people in my company going, well, I'm not actually a doer, I'm just more of a coach. I'm like, well, no, not
Yeah.
at this company. We're all
Sure.
going to lead by example. And so write down your values as a human being, and then your values that you want to, if all the values that you have, let's say there's 5 or 6 of them, and you want those in your company, hire for them. Well, this person doesn't meet that value. He doesn't align with this value. When you're making a big business decision, if it doesn't align with your values, now you have a map to go by, or a compass. And then if somebody does something that's totally outside of your values that you cannot have, well, you didn't fire the person because they're a bad person. You fired them because they don't align with your values. You got a very powerful. It's like getting a map and compass. So that's one thing that I've done this year, and been running a business since 2007. So first year, and man, let me tell you what, it takes everything out of my hands. Now the whole team has the map and compass, so anybody on the team can now say, hey man, you're not taking initiative here. Um, you're sitting on your cell phone when there's this or that needs to be done. And now that didn't come out of my mouth. That didn't come out of a manager's mouth. That come out of the guy who sweeps the floor talking
Sure.
to somebody, and you can't argue with it because it's core value, and
I like
right
it.
is right, so.
So when coming up with the core values, Caleb, did you come up with those yourself, or did you guys come up with them as a team?
I think the best thing to do is take your leadership team. Let me tell you what was done with me. So we have a business coach. We use a company called Petra Coach. Good people, I know them. And anyways, so they took our leadership team and they said, basically, what are the values of your company? What do you stand for? Why are you successful? What do you want to be known for? Whatever. And they just start writing these things down and putting them on sticky notes on the wall. And let's say there's 50 things here. For us, it's like we get orders out fast. We do the right thing. We get our customer, customer service is huge for us. Customer experience is huge for us. And then they were like, well, if there were only 6, or if there were only 8, which ones would you put? Which ones would you have? And then they took literally these big square sticky notes, this size right here.
Okay.
And then everybody was like, hey, if you could only have 6 or 5 or 8 or whatever, which ones would you keep? And then they go and they put dots on all of them. What you find out is that, maybe there's the top 10 that pretty much, there's 50 on the board, but the top 10, everybody put dots on mostly.
Sure.
And you go, oh, well, that's kind of our core thing. And then Ashley and I took that information, and then we distilled it, and we maybe didn't use some of it. Maybe we did use some of it, but we came up with something that was we really wanted the team to do it. But at the end of the day, I feel like I have to make the decision.
Yeah.
Because I know there were some that were great and some that I thought were great, but there were some that I knew were going to be the guiding path to get us where we wanted to go. And so that's what we did. So I think if you can bring your team on, let them help choose some of them, and then now what kind of people you have, because our organization,
Sure.
we all have similar beliefs and core values.
Yeah.
So it was real easy to do this. And then when we rolled out the core values, I don't have one with me. When we rolled out the core values, everybody was like, yep, yep, yep. You can't argue with them
Sure.
because they're I think they're universal. They're universally accepted and good things. And then every week in our Monday morning meeting, we have a core value of the week. And just recently, I've started doing, I don't know if, I guess the only thing you can call it is a speech. It's not a speech, but every Monday morning I will, throughout the week, I want my leaders to say, hey, if were there problems that didn't align with our core values that you had this week? If they are, what are they? And then what are the wins that you had with the core values, and what are they? And so I'll mention some of that. Never mention a name, but I'll, like, for instance, everybody knows Christy. She ships. She's our logistics person, and she has people below her that send out orders. And sometimes as a leader, it's difficult to confront someone. And I have a really dominant personality, and it's sometimes difficult for people to confront people when they're not doing the right thing or not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And
Sure.
this Christy is not a dominant personality, not at all. But she stood up and for what was right. When somebody wasn't living out a core value, she stood up. She mentioned it. She brought it up. And I don't want to say disciplined the person, but for lack of a better term, she did it. And I told everybody about that. Now, I didn't throw the guy under the bus who was she disciplined, but I said, hey,
Sure.
she was in an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah.
And she did the right thing. One of our core values is do the right thing. She did the right thing. And
Love
the
it.
reason I didn't say exactly what happened or what she did or whatever was because the other person, if I named what she did, well, everybody's going to go, well, when I get in that exact situation, I'll do that. But no, I said
Yeah.
she was in an uncomfortable situation, and
Yeah.
even to do the right thing, she had to go to an uncomfortable place, and she did it, and it worked out well. And so in the weeks, I wrote it down, and I talked about that, so therefore anybody in our company is going to get put in a position where to do the right thing, it's going to be uncomfortable. Well, I knew this would happen. I would be uncomfortable, but I'm going to do it anyways. And so every week I just try to write down stuff and talk about the core value of the week and talk about whatever happened last week, if it was good or bad, and just put light on it a little bit. And it seems to be working well so far. I'll let you know in a year.
I'd love to hear back. I'd love to hear back about this, because that's, I think, Caleb, I think it's good to put it out there. Like you said, you guys have been running a successful business for years and years and years, and this is something you're just now doing, right? I think a lot of people might say, well, we've been running so long without it that, we must be on the right path. So, we probably don't need to implement something like this. But in your business, obviously you guys were successful prior, but implementing this now has had a good effect on your business.
Good example. I was just thinking about your probably your dad and grandpa, and then I was thinking about my dad growing up in the fence business. My dad held the line. We were going to dig the post all the way to depth every time. If there was rock, we were going to break the rock out. We were going to go through it. If whatever it was, we were going to do it right. And then I had other people in my life we're going to do it right. But without those pillars, those strong people standing there to hold that line, what's going to hold the line for you? Hopefully they learned from grandpa to do it the right way and they're not feeling lazy today. But I think the core values just kind of take the place of the old timer, because once the old timer's gone, so if you think about the values your grandpa had in your fence business, I guarantee you some of those are still there today.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what the core values are. It's just a way to put down on paper what I believe, how should we run this organization? And just like if my grandpa was here doing it for me. And so I think that's a good way to look at it. It's not a weird, touchy-feely kind of a new age thing. It's not. It's the same thing your granddad used to do. But back in the day, grandpa could yell and scream, and if people didn't like it, they could get out of here. Well, you can't. Things are different today.
Yeah.
And
it's a different approach to kind of the same idea.
Yeah.
Right. Because, my granddad would have told you exactly what he thought about that whole not being to depth. Like, listen, and he would have probably used colorful language, and he would have, called your manhood into question maybe, and you would have dug that hole. You would have finished it. And it would have got done correctly.
He wasn't, but looking back though, he wasn't calling your manhood into consideration. He was calling your values into consideration, right?
Yeah.
And because what kind of man are you? If you won't do this one thing right, what else will you not do right? And once you get that as an adult, you're like, crap, Grandpa was right.
Yeah. Yep.
There was a reason he held the line on those things.
Right. Well, because and when he said it, it was just gospel. Right. He's like, there were no questions. There was no, could I understand your point of view a little bit better? It was just, this is what we're doing. But now when we see it on the flip side, we kind of understand a little bit better. And when you see it from the ownership perspective, you're like, oh, okay. I understand this a little bit better.
I was watching, we don't watch much TV because we got 4 kids and stuff on TV is crazy, but we'll watch these things like National Geographic stuff or whatever.
Mhm.
And they showed the Kalahari Desert, which is not really a desert. It's more like a savanna or whatever. At least the part we've seen. And they showed the symbiotic relationship of fire, flooding, all the birds, all the animals, the lions, the tigers, how the lions push the buffalo and the buffalo don't eat the grass to nothing because they keep them on the move. And but they were talking about, how the elephant, the baby elephant, is, by the time it's grown and it has its own herd, the knowledge that it learned from its parents and the group around it is going to be the thing that makes them survive the next 1,000 years or whatever, because they got to go to where there's water when it dries up. They know where to go because they were taught. And basically animals run off the same thing, stories.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people with stories. With animal, it's just the whole herd of animal did this every year. This is where we go. And it's just passing down that knowledge. And so I think with the core value, the name core value sounds kind of funny because it's been something that's just popped up in the last 20 years.
Sure.
But basically it's what is the word? It is legacy. It is if I were to leave here tomorrow, how can I leave something that my children can take and go with it? And if it has to come down to this one lesson, it's got to last 1,000 years. How can we make it get through? And so that TV show, 1 hour long, watching lions and tigers and elephants or whatever, was just like, it put a lot of stuff into perspective. I was like,
Sure.
it's this is core values. So
it applies a lot of places outside of the business.
Yeah, man, it's life.
Say hello to a few more people.
Joe's going to be watching Lion King tonight.
I gotta go. Probably at our house. Dan Wheeler, we know this guy. Good morning, Joe and Caleb. # Fence Fam. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, Dan. Great to
It's almost not morning, depending on where you're at. But so speaking of podcasts are kind of becoming the thing now. Now, Dan was a bit of a trendsetter when it came to the world of podcasts.
I just want everybody to know that the Stain and Sill Experts podcast started like in 2017. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Just telling you guys, just so you know.
Oh, boy, this is uncomfortable. Okay. Well, but he does it. The intro now is no longer the first and only podcast, but I think we might need to compare notes on first podcast for the fencing industry. Maybe he's using the technicality of that yours was really for like the staining industry.
Yeah. But we definitely started with fence staining.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, no contest here.
Good. This is good and comfortable. Glad you guys are all here. Appreciate it.
Hey, but the good news is that it's so weird talking into this box.
Yeah.
But you meet people at these events like in Springfield that was a great success. And people are like, hey, I changed my whole life. I started a business. I quit my job, or I did this. And you're like, thank you for telling me. Not because sometimes it's difficult to get up and talk into a box.
Yeah,
it is. And so it's good to know that maybe somebody out there is listening.
That's right. Because those aren't like tangible results. Right. Like that's not something you can see on a report or anything. So when we're talking about the success of a channel, like we'll talk about views and average view duration and things like that. But what's the saying? Like you can't take views to the bank. You can't pay your bills with the average view duration.
Yeah. Who cares about views at the end of the day? In Springfield, a guy came to me and he said he quit his job. He was a 3rd generation railroader and he quit his job of like 20 years at the railroad. And I'm thinking, are you crazy? Are you crazy? But he said, but they made him work crazy shifts, and they really, it wasn't he couldn't have a great home life. He started a staining business, and he's happy and he loves it and it's doing
Yeah.
well. And so and he said, I did that because of you. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. You quit your, but he said, no, it was a good thing. And you were inspiration and I've done it. And we're better as a family now. And I thought, you know what? Good. That's good news. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
It
Well,
makes me a little uncomfortable to be told that, but
yeah.
I'm glad to hear it because, man, you feel like, you're talking to a box. I mean, that's the
Well,
best way I
yeah,
can put it.
exactly. You're up on the Saturday morning, and you were up much earlier on Saturday mornings for your show. But yeah, you're up on a Saturday morning in a room, either by yourself or maybe with somebody else. But yeah, you're talking to this like box, and you got a mic. But at the end of the day, you're by yourself or with one other person in a room, right? Like it's just not. It doesn't feel productive, I guess. But then, like you say, you have a conversation with somebody, like, oh, okay, like this was helpful, and then that makes it worth it.
It's the way it goes, man.
That's right. That's right. So Martin Lee is giving us an update on the barbecue situation over in the UK. Well, actually, let's scroll back up. Aloha Fence, what is up? Josh says aloha from Heber, and I did remember it is Heber. Good morning, and he's got the little like cold emoji, the frozen emoji.
Is that in Alaska? Where's Heber at?
No. It's Utah.
I know he's in Alaska sometimes.
Yeah,
Hey,
well,
I just want to put out a anybody who wants to take me elk hunting, just let me know. I'm ready.
well, it's probably like everything else. You just go wandering around for a while and you find one.
Yeah,
You don't got to go on these like 2-day belly crawls across the tundra to go find one.
sounds good to me.
I mean, they hit them with cars all the time up there. So, I mean, that and moose. You want to go on a moose hunt, just go drive down the interstate for a
I
while.
would love to go moose hunting. In fact, I told the kids we're not shooting anything till a moose walks out. So,
Kids, you might be waiting a while. Moose sightings in Tennessee just aren't what they used to be.
we do confirmed now. Of course, we've known this for 20 years, but they have confirmed it now that we have mountain lion.
Missouri is still in denial about it. What they're saying is they're ranging up from Arkansas. Like, well, that doesn't really make sense when you see. So the farmers are really up in arms. So it's all about like having predator hunts and stuff like that. But so the Missouri Department of Conservation says you can't hunt them because they're not actually here, and there's farmers with trail cams of a mom and her cub.
Oh yeah,
it's
everywhere.
like walking by, and they're like, "Wait, moms don't go ranging for food with their cubs. Like they live here, they are here." Same thing with bears. We got a bunch of bears running around, and Department of Conservation for whatever reason is like, "Nah, nope, not here. You didn't see them. You didn't really see them." It's crazy. Mountain lions are like why? What? I don't know. I don't know why. Who would? What is the benefit of denying they're from there?
I guess if you deny it, then people won't go looking for them. And I guess if they're trying to protect the species, if people go looking for them, they're just, you know how hillbillies are, man. They'll just go kill everything. We had a bear that like had a bunch of baby cubs in our town, and it was you know how a mama cow gets poor when it has like twins or something.
Yeah,
This bear was poor, like it was hungry. Its bear cubs were fat, but man, some redneck sees a bear minding its own business, shoots it.
Yeah.
And then he's so proud of himself. And I'm like, man, what? It's a black bear. It eats like nuts and berries.
Right.
Why did you shoot the bear?
You weren't fearing for your life, your land, or your property.
Yeah, I hate that. But at the same time, I really don't want a mountain lion walking through my backyard. But I've been out west with mountain lions. They're probably going to leave you alone.
Not a bunch of good comes from having them around. Let's see. So Martin Lee was updating us on the barbecue situation in the UK. Just follow a lot of YouTube videos from you guys in the States. It's still called barbecue over here. Okay, well, that's good. It's just not as big. $225 for the brisket. Yep, for as long as it takes to get to temperature. Exactly right. Jack Daniels hickory wood with a smoky chipotle mop. Sounds like Martin's watching the right videos.
Sounds a little Americanized.
Yeah? Well, you want to talk about a business that knows its business. Jack Daniels. They monetize everything. Like So the Jack Daniel's hickory wood, well, from being from Tennessee, you know exactly where that comes from. Well, that's the charcoal that they filter the Jack Daniels through. Well, then afterwards they chop it up and they sell it, you know, whatever, for this hickory smoke wood. When Caleb, you know what they were going through. They're like, hey guys, we got this pile out here. You mean the stuff that we just throw away after we filter?
Oh no, they're paying. They were paying somebody to get rid of that stuff.
Oh yes,
you know they were.
Oh yeah, yeah. Or they're giving away to family and friends to go burn. They're like putting it out by the road, like, please take this. And then somebody's like, hey, you know what? I bet we could sell it. I bet we could sell it. And like, I don't know. Yeah, let's just put it in a bag and see. Like, well, all right. What do you know? Sells like wildfire. Then, of course, you sell the juice that's in the barrels, right? That filters through. You put it in the barrels. Well, what in the world are you going to do with these barrels? Because you only use them once. Well, they only use them once. They don't reuse them. Well, what in the world are we going to do with them? Well, what do you know? You cut them and you make them into crafts and tables and chairs and charge people $500 or $600 for them. It's a money-making operation. I don't know with their numbers, but I would hazard to guess they probably make as much from their like accessory sales than they do from their liquor sales. Maybe not.
Let's look it up.
It's got to be close.
What do you think their revenue is? Let's take some guesses.
I don't know.
Jack Daniel's revenue 2021. Let's have a look. I'm going to say they're $500 million.
Yeah, I was thinking big numbers. Yeah.
Oh, they're over $1 billion.
Over $1 billion.
Over $1 billion, yeah. Let's see here. 2021.
That's a lot of juice.
That is a lot. Well, that tells me how many liters they sold. All right. They had 18.3% growth last year. Where's the number? Annual U.S. sales. Shoot, in China, they sell $1 billion worth.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it said. I'm going to keep looking so I can find some.
China.
American whiskey. Well, I mean, UK, he's got them right there.
Yeah.
Let's see here. There's estimated web sales of 5 million. Oh, that's not right.
Braden has found a number of 3.9 billion.
Thank you, Braden. That's why I'm not the researcher. I'm on DuckDuckGo, so I don't know if you can believe what's on there or not.
That's crazy. Just under 4 billion with a B. It's a lot of zeros.
That little bitty town in Tennessee.
Yeah. They employ like the whole county.
It's like Stevens Pipe and Steel in Russellville. Whole town works there, yeah.
Yep, that's right. That's right. But yeah, talk about, we could all learn a thing or two, right, about monetizing every step of the process. I mean, we know a guy that, so his tear outs, he's found a way to monetize tear outs.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff that we put out by the road. Now ours is treated pine and his is something else, but stuff that you used to put out by the road so you wouldn't have to pay to have it hauled off. He's found a way to monetize it a couple different ways.
The fish grilling planks is a great idea.
Yep.
Tear out a cedar fence, grilling planks.
We sell them as craft boards and just sell the fire out of them. We sell a lot of them to a guy in Oklahoma that builds birdhouses. He retired and builds birdhouses. Well, then, as if that's not enough, now he builds and sells birdhouse kits at like some of the big online retailers you've heard of. There's money in it everywhere, and we could learn a thing or two from that for sure. I want to say hi to a few more people. Actually, Josh has a pertinent question. When is the first virtual meeting? I missed it. Sorry.
December 8th, 9 a.m. Central Time. Big names coming. We're going to answer the questions you've got.
Where will they find more information as it becomes available?
Let's get a link. You just keep talking and I'll find out.
You got it.
Ashley's cooking Thanksgiving supper, dinner, lunch. I'm not sure which. She's cooking something. So she's not going to be as handy.
I can almost smell it from here.
Oh, I know.
Let's see. There's some barbecue talk in the chat. Dan Wheeler said good morning. All right, Michael Babbitt said the DNR did that with mountain lions here in northern Michigan. It took years and years of trail cam pictures up here before they admitted they were here. That's the thing, is like I don't understand what the benefit of denying that something like that is in the state when you have all of this, like, to your point, photographic evidence, video. I mean, now video trail cams are in 4K, right? You can get some great definition of this mountain lion dragging something past the trail cam. What is the point of not allowing them? Because I don't think, well, maybe it's, I don't know. If it's there, they're not required to have a season for it, I don't believe. And if you're a landowner, you can shoot them anyway if you feel that they, are a threat to your person or your property. So if you've got dogs or cats or livestock or whatever, you could shoot a mountain lion on site for fear that it was going to, cause harm to you, your family, your property, animals, or whatnot. So I don't know what the purpose of denying it is. How you doing on the link, Caleb?
I'm almost there. I'm not as good at this as some other people are, but I've got the link.
Well, guys, we are winding down. We are a little over an hour per standard, I guess. We're 8 minutes past the hour. So if you guys have questions, comments, drop them in the comments real quick. We're going to get Caleb out of here so that he can go have some Thanksgiving, and so that Ashley doesn't send me mean messages asking why I've absconded with her husband's time.
I don't know how to post. I put it in the private chat, so maybe maybe you guys can figure that one out. But that's going to be a fun event. I'm excited for it, man. You got to come see our new place, Joe. It is coming along.
I really do want to see it. I'm going to add a day to the Nashville event so that I can come see it.
So we're building a building. There's an existing 2 buildings there that are connected, and then we're building an additional building, and then building an addition to the existing buildings to connect the new building. It's 9.5 feet below grade on one corner of that building, and it's a big building that we're building. So
I'd say
we've almost got it filled in. We were going to get rock, riprap, and surge, to build the pad.
Mm-hmm.
It's $1,100 a load for rock. So luckily we had lots of rock that we dug up, and we got a jackhammer on an excavator, and we broke all the rock and we filled it in ourselves, and only had to get a few loads. So
nice.
So that was interesting. But we've got there's a small log cabin on this property with a bathroom and all this stuff in it. That is going to be the new YouTube studio, and it's going to be it's going to be legit with a.
We're going to have so much
outside area, to sit and talk. We'll have an inside area. And it's going to be awesome. So they'll probably even get a sponsor to sponsor it. And I'm going to be like you guys and have a studio or something. So
I love it.
Fun. It'll be fun.
It so much.
Maybe you and I can be the first recording there. That'll be fun.
That would be amazing. But I am adding another day onto the Nashville trip so I can check it out. I really would like to see it. And it's going to be a manufacturing facility. Is that right?
Yeah, the manufacturing area is actually finished. We're into the offices now. We got to do floor coatings, I guess, in the manufacturing, but we're done. We're going to there'll be a classroom in this building, so we'll be able to do events there. And
nice.
So it'll be nice, man. It really will be.
So you'll be bringing the Santa University there on site.
I don't know if we'll bring it there.
Okay.
But we'll definitely do something. We'll do classes there, maybe quarterly or monthly. I don't know.
I like it.
We get so many calls for people. Can we come tomorrow?
Sure.
So we may end up doing something like that.
I love it. I love it a lot. Yeah, we'll like I said, add a day to it, and me and Braden Braden will bring the video gear, and we'll do some videos on it too. I'm now that we're making wire, like that manufacturing side of my brain is really getting going, and now I just want to see everybody's manufacturing facility, see how the workflow is a thing, like see how they've got their workflow set up, see, because even though we're manufacturing 2 completely different things, a lot of it's still the same. Like, where's your intake, where's your production, where's your outflow? There's a lot the same.
I have been lucky, and we've got some people that know manufacturing that work with us. So it is not me. I have learned to stand back and be like, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think we should do?
Well,
that sounds pretty good.
Putting the right people in the right places.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Bam that's tracking things down to a tenth of a penny, fraction of a penny. Ever since he told us that story, I was like, we're gonna need to run the numbers out another decimal or two further.
That's true.
You figure this out.
But we've got guys like Bam equally as talented in different areas now. It's crazy that we're getting really good people, and I'm so blessed. So
Caleb, let's start landing the plane a little bit here. So because we're getting close. We're getting close. Talking about finding team members, and this is probably a whole different discussion that could last for a while. So you're finding these team members that excel in their given areas of expertise. Where are you finding them? How are you finding these people?
Okay. We all know that if you have a knucklehead working for you, he's probably got friends who are also knuckleheads, and he wants them to come work and be a part of it. If you have really good people working for you, they also probably know really good people. But I think the number one thing that you guys should consider is to have a mindset shift.
Okay.
And the mindset shift is in the trades growing up, what have you heard your whole life? Can't find good.
Yeah. Can't find good help.
They don't exist. Can't find good help. And nobody wants to. Nobody wants to what?
And nobody wants to work anymore.
That's not true. The whole world is full of people working. There's good people everywhere. There's good people on your street. There's good people driving by your company every day. Really good people that could just totally transform your business. So I think the number one thing is to just have the mindset shift that there's good people out there. There's good people out there, and I'm going to find them. They're going to find me. There's good people out there. And just sit with that for the next 2 years and see what it does to your business. Because it's like, what's the saying? If you go looking for an enemy, you'll find one. And if you go looking for a friend, you'll find one. Right.
Yep.
I don't think that's the right saying, but that's the right message. If you go looking for a friend, you just might find one.
Yep.
And so I think for me, I had to just be like, there actually are really good people out there. And that's the number one thing. All the rest will fall into place.
And another thing you hear a lot of people say is, this younger generation, they just don't work. They just don't work like in the old days or whatever. The young generation just doesn't want to work. Well, that is also a lie.
Some of my best workers are between the ages of 16 and 22.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed is that with these younger college kids, I think between 1999 to 2010, college really didn't make much difference. But what I'm noticing is that now with this attention span is so short, and everything is dopamine, and everybody's scrolling on their phone and has no attention span. What do college kids have to do? They have to sit in a class for an hour and a half. They have to do homework. They have to learn to work. They have to get attention span, right? And so what I'm noticing is with these younger kids that are in college right now, they're crushing it for me. They know how to work. They want to work. And some of my hardest workers are in college right now.
Yeah,
crushing
absolutely.
it, doing fantastic job.
Well, yeah, when you look at, Braden's a great example. It essentially runs you. If you watch our YouTube channel, 90% of it has Braden's touch. And
I got a bone to pick with Braden, man. That pre-stain video, man.
The what?
That pre-stain video, man. Y'all needed some expert commentary on that or something.
We're learning.
All right, Joe.
So is it the one with Eric where when they're dipping it and they're saying like cedar?
Probably so.
Yeah. Well, we'll work with the team. That's true. Yep. Yeah, your link's in the description of that video. It's got 600,000 views. So
we're gonna have to come in there and get that pre-stain operation dialed in for you.
Hey, I will take any and all help. It works.
I know it, man. Well, I know it.
Kenny and I, while he was here, we were kind of, we were playing through some different scenarios of what to do in there, but we'll see. There's always a different idea. Like, that's the thing is, like, I almost hesitate to make a version 2.0 because, like, it seems like once a week I'll have a new idea of, like, a new upgrade to it. Like, well, as soon as I build 2.0, I'm going to start thinking about 3.0, and we've only got so much space out there in the stain shop. But
I'll share with you a design that I saw in McKinney, Texas,
okay.
and what they were doing. It's different than what I do, but I'll share that one with you too. And
I,
it's a real interesting.
I'll welcome it. I mean, our business is always just trying to figure it out, right? I think oh man, I'm sorry if you're watching. One of the regular followers of the channel, I saw a comment come through the YouTube channel. It's like, or maybe it might have been on Facebook, but basically just saying that he is surprised like how many people are like successful businesses are still working on things, and because there's always this perception from the outside that some of these big names and like have it figured out. But then when you actually sit down and talk to them, they're like, you might think I've got this figured out, but this is held together with, duct tape and baling wire. Like this thing, we're still figuring this out once you get on the inside. And that's,
they say that the biggest difference between people who are very successful and people who are not successful is their willingness to make mistakes, and also their willingness to go for it without having enough knowledge. Because some people, they want to consume all the knowledge and learn everything before they jump. Where guys like me, like I have the parachute, I'll throw it out and then I'll jump out. And somewhere along the way, I'll grab the parachute and I'll figure out how the thing buckles. And I've never used a parachute, but I've seen it in movies.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference, is just the willingness to fall flat on your face. Of course, we definitely don't anticipate falling on our face, right? But we're willing to.
Well, it's that saying, you build the plane on the way down. Like we're still putting this thing together.
I'm building mine on the way up, Joe. I don't like that on the way down thing.
Well, we're in a glider now. Like we figured out how to build the plane. Now we're a glider. Now we just got to get
I'm in the back trying to pull start this thing. I know it's going to run. I know it'll run.
Yeah, give it a crank. Get another crank. Get a little bit more fuel. Is it flooded? I don't know.
Hey, we got an important core drill question down here we need to get to.
Yep. Michael says, hey, Joe, you once mentioned that you core drill a lot of your holes because of rock. What kind of core drill do you have? Makita is the last one I remember buying. I'll run out there to the tool crib and see. So this will become a recorded live right after this live is over. I will leave a comment in that live on exactly, but Makita is the last one I remember buying. But who knows? The guys out there are going to know more about what they prefer to use.
If you're doing it on a budget, when I was a kid, we bought one that was retired from a rental house. And I think my dad still got that thing. It was an old, heavy duty one. And we welded up basically a dolly that we welded a frame with wheels on it. So it set flat, but when we tilted it back, it would roll on those wheels. And it was way heavier than what you could afford at the time. We couldn't afford anything. So we bought one at a rental place. And we may have had to rebuild the electric motor in it somewhere along the way, but it was a fantastic machine, and it would drill through anything.
Yeah. Well, and let me say this, it's a rotary hammer. So it's got a couple different functions. So it'll do a core drill, but because we're out in the middle of nowhere, it's not going to be one of the, so Caleb saying this made me think about it. It's not like one on the stand with a tri-spinner handle that'll actually lower the core bit on. It's a rotary hammer, a hammer drill.
So
what it is.
We had those as well. That the big core drill, it was heavy enough that it would put down pressure and it drill quickly. Yep. And also, if you want to know what brand it was, I think it was bronze.
Okay.
We spray painted it bronze, and that was the brand. No idea what brand it was.
Bo says Hilti is a good core drill. Agreed. Gas powered or electric. There you go. I will go out to the tool crib shortly, and I will, once this is uploaded as a recorded live, I'll put the comments in that over on the YouTube channel. So keep an eye out for that. Caleb, you were on schedule, sir. And we're technically ahead of schedule. So let's end this on a good note. And we didn't talk about aliens or the moon or anything.
Not yet, but you got 5 minutes.
That's why we're on schedule, right? Or ish. I was like, when I was telling Gabe, I was like, hey, we redid the format. It's an hour-ish. We haven't figured out how to get it down to exactly an hour yet.
I think it's a good move. Yeah. Family time's important.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Caleb, thank you so much.
Joe,
I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Guys, appreciate you guys watching. If you're listening to the podcast and you've made it all the way this far, I really appreciate it. You should tune in on Saturdays. We do a live show from 10 to 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. YouTube.com/Joe Everest. Until next time, I'm Joe Everest, the fence expert, reminding you the good fences make good neighbors. And I'll see you next time.